Am I audible enough? Okay, great. Um, I welcome you once again for our class today. Sorry, we have not started at the time we were supposed to. That's why I requested for an extension a little bit in the time that we are supposed to start today. But I'm very happy to have all of you here for joining our call today or our class today. As you can see on the screen, or as you can see what I'm projecting, this is our timetable and how we have been progressing. Yes, based on the way I see, I think tomorrow, in case we are unable to complete, then the following week we shall be able to complete this fully, and we shall call it a done deal in terms of our first module for this course, the project planning and management. Like I had said earlier on, it doesn't matter if we actually finish ahead of time. It is actually to our advantage, okay? Yes, so that is how we are going to be progressing. And I don't know if the class coordinators or the group leaders, so far for the coursework that I've given, if you can tell us how the progress is, because I think we are supposed to submit, was it by today? Please let me know how you're progressing. I think we can start the discussion from there. Then we progress with our class. Group leaders, how is the progress on your end regarding the coursework that I shared with you earlier on at the beginning of the course on the capstone project? You can unmute and then you speak. Should I assume people know what is ongoing with their courseworks, with their group courseworks, or should I assume people do not know what is ongoing? Colleagues, can you hear me? Yes, I'm asking, how is the progress in terms of the first coursework that I gave to you? I think we're supposed to be submitting the coursework, the group coursework. Madam Shiba, what is the progress in your group? Members of group 1 or group A, the first group. What is the progress as per your group? Shiba, in case you're speaking, we can't hear you, but we can see your mic is on. Trying to look at the document which has the group members.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone on call. So the progress of group one,
Yes.
so we shared the topics given to us to different individuals, and everyone came up with a document of their own. So during our group meetings, everyone presents the research they have made, and then we compare with what each one has done. So we're still in progress, though everyone was given what to research on, and then we come back together to compile what we researched about. So we are still working on it, but there is progress. And we hope that by the deadline, we should have submitted our work. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. When is the deadline according to you? Or as per your group? What is the
9th
deadline
of
you've given to
June.
yourselves?
For us, we said a week before the the deadline that you give to us, which is 9th of June.
Okay. Kindly work on that. Who is your group leader?
Group leader, it is
Yes.
Francis.
Okay. Yeah, so I would request you work ahead of time. Because by tomorrow I'm supposed to be, by today actually, excuse me, I'm supposed to be giving you another coursework that is for the project planning and management so that we move in that line. Okay. Yeah, so that is what is supposed to happen. I'm supposed to give you another coursework, and I don't want to give another coursework when you have another one. They shouldn't compile. Okay. Yeah. So whoever is not yet in a group, please reach out to Madam Shiba. Madam Shiba, you can post in the WhatsApp group so that you allocate, because I've seen Emmanuel has mentioned that he joined slightly later. It can be allocated a group. So Emmanuel, we have given, the first coursework that I've given is for the last module we are supposed to cover. Okay. So that is for capstone project. Please join one of the two groups where they will allocate you, and then be an active participant in each of the two. I hope that is clear. Okay. Then two, I didn't have I've been very mobile this week, and I have not yet uploaded what we covered last week on the e-learning platform. But I think immediately after this lecture, then we are going to have them uploaded on the e-learning platform. You can access them, but also I will share with Madam Shiba Abat the resources that I had promised to share with you for last week. Okay, the one we covered on Sundays. Yes. Then yesterday, I don't know if you followed the graduation that we had to Tamu yesterday. Is there anyone who followed? The link was shared here. Is there anyone who followed the graduation that happened yesterday? People are so quiet today. Is everything okay? Am I not audible enough? How shall we discuss today if people are not sharing? Hmm? Colleagues, how shall we move on today if people are not sharing, people are not speaking? Is there a way I need to make any adjustment? Or I can just pick people by their names? I think I'm going to be calling names now.
I actually saw the link. I tried logging in a little bit, like for 2 minutes, and I logged out. I didn't really follow it up.
Okay. Yeah, it's very good to be. The other time we said as a leader, it's very good to be accountable. What I mean by accountability is if you have not done something, you'll be open. Or if you have done it, you also be open. Thank you so much, Pauline. Okay, what I'm trying to say is not a crime. Yes, Juanita.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. For my case, I didn't, apparently right now I don't have a WhatsApp phone, so I didn't even see anything. So I have nothing. Maybe in the near future, when I get a phone, hopefully, I'll follow.
Okay. Yeah, you will, I think, get the proceedings on YouTube if it has been already uploaded. Yes, so what I was trying to say is that it's not a crime for not following, but also it's important to follow. The main reason why I've asked is that we had cohorts 1 and 2 graduated yesterday for this course for the first time. For the first time, this course was introduced. The good news is that this course had the highest number of students who graduated. Okay, so this course had 86 students who graduated yesterday. Of course, there's another graduation that is going to be in November. That's this year. My assumption is that by that time, we shall all be ready to graduate. But also before that time, normally we organize a pass out meeting where the leaders of the institution, the board chair, that is Professor Baria Mureba, we have the vice chancellor, we have the academic registrar, we have the director in charge of quality assurance, and so many other leaders in the institution. We normally organize a day, invite them, then they'll be able to talk to you, to give you more details that contains this course, to give you more details that contain the institution, how the institution continues to support you even after completing this course. So we normally organize that ahead of the graduation or immediately when we have completed our classwork. Then we have that organized and then they pass you out officially. Then you wait for an official graduation. Okay? So that is what normally happens. Yes. Okay, so yes, Arthur.
I have a question.
Please.
The meeting, which is organized, a physical meeting with university leadership? Thank you.
It's a virtual meeting, the same way we are having this class. And everything is done virtually. However, the graduation is physical if you are able to attend it physically at the Kungu main campus. Yes. Yeah, so that pass out meeting is done virtually, but the graduation, you will be requested for officially or invited officially to attend it physically. I hope that is clear. Okay, as per our timetable, we have just a few areas we are supposed to be discussing. Today we are most likely going to cover around 3 or 4, then the rest we shall be able to cover them tomorrow. Since we have time, even if we have not completed them tomorrow, well and good, okay? So we are not complaining. Yes, so today we shall be looking at the conflict management in projects. After conflict management, we shall also look at I wanted us to look at the project resource mobilization later on because that is done practically. But if time allows, let's look at the project conflict management in projects. Then we also look at the finance management. Now, after looking at the finance management, I think this is where now we shall be confident to give you the coursework. Reason being, within the coursework, there's finance, which is budgeting and planning for all the money that is going to be operating, or for all the money that will be spent for the period your project is going to be implemented. So we don't give you a coursework for what you cannot do. We give you a coursework for what you can do. For those who attended this, the very first day of this course, we say that whatever is given to you is to support you learn. We don't give you what should actually fail you, okay? No, I don't do that. We give you what is supposed to support you, to improve your learning, and then ensure that you have understood. That is why I took some little time to give you the coursework for this module, because we wanted you to cover certain areas, get acquainted with it, and then you can be able to move on and do the work or to do the coursework. So last week we covered risk management, and we had a lot of sharing in terms of risk management in projects, or generally risk management. Okay, which I'm assuming that you can be able to move on in terms of that, and then be able to understand risk management in details. We looked at the risk register, and within the risk register, we looked at how you can develop it. I'm also going to share that with you so that it can support you moving forward. Okay. So today we are going to look at a very important aspect as well. Conflict management. We shall look at the different areas concerning conflict management. We shall look at how you can define or what a conflict is, the meaning of conflicts, how you look at the different forms of conflicts, okay? The views regarding conflicts, the module or the model about conflict, the sources of conflicts in organizations or in your groupings, okay? And we shall look at, do actually conflicts matter or they don't matter? We shall ask that question and be able to respond to ourselves, okay? The negative effects of conflicts, the positive effects of conflicts. We shall look at all those, how you can manage them. That is why we are calling it conflict management, okay? So that you look at all the forms and then be able to manage it, to mitigate it, okay? How you can resolve conflicts and so on and so forth. And I think we shall end it at that particular point. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you officially as we take on this particular aspect in project planning and management. Okay, so I wanted us to start off with a discussion, the same way we have been doing in our past projects or in our past classes. Okay, so how do you define a conflict, or how do you define a conflict management? We can open our discussion from here, then we progress on. Okay? So who can open up the discussion on conflict management or conflict? How do you define a conflict? I know most or either all of us have interfaced with the conflicts here and there. And that can give us a sharing by experience of what we have undergone through. The floor is open. Does the silence means people do not know or do not have an idea about this? Yes, Arthur.
Thank you so much. I would define a conflict as a disagreement or a misunderstanding between two parties or more. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Arthur is looking at it as a disagreement. He has taken the negative direction, okay? A disagreement between two parties. Thank you so much. Yes, Emmanuel.
Thank you. To me, I would say that conflict is just a misunderstanding, or it's just or it arises out of ideological differences that is as a result of differences in interests or among or between the concerned parties. So I realize that for this case, in the project, we have stakeholders that have different interests, and that means that we shall always have some kind of chat on certain issues because of those personal differences. Therefore, it's what brings out conflict in the project, and therefore we need to see how to manage them so that we achieve the overall objective of the project.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. To add on to what Arthur said, Emmanuel is saying the different views or perceptions that people may have, either as stakeholders or either whether when they're working together or not. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the trial. I think I can have one last more, then we proceed. But thanks all for your submissions. Can we have one last more? Preferably, if we have a lady, so that we can balance the boat or we balance the class.
Good afternoon, class. Conflict is how I define conflict is how people agree or disagree to something, and it can be either positive or negative. So let me take an example. If I bring up a point or something, and someone comes up and says, I do not agree with you, or gives me a reason as to why I should let it be, and gives me a proper idea, and we follow it up. That's how I define my conflict.
Okay, thank you, Pauline, for the submission. Just like Emmanuel, Pauline has also taken a direction which has both, okay? Either you agree or disagree to agree. Okay, you disagree to agree, or you have a common goal for the disagreement, which is very, very key. Okay, thank you so much, all. I think we can pick it up right from here. Let me start by giving a scenario. I have a friend of mine. At one point, he was working with an organization called MTI, that is Medical Teams International. He was based in West Nile. Within his department, he was the only Ugandan. The rest of the people were, I think, from the US, and there was one who was coming from West Africa. So this gentleman told me, in most cases, they always disagree, okay? Like, they don't have a common say on something. So what happened was they had a departmental meeting. The departmental meeting was to have a common understanding based on their disagreement or based on their views. And the human resource manager was one of the people who attended their meeting, followed by the ED of the organization attended their meeting. And at the end of the meeting, the ED, I think, gave remarks and said that was the best disagreement ever these people have always been having. That the department is one of the best departments, or the best department actually in the organization, because they disagree not to affect the work of the organization, but their disagreements is always to come to a common understanding. Yeah, so you can see that this is a conflicting idea, or a way that people have been conflicting, but not for the wrong, in order to come to a common understanding or a common say based on what happens. You can see that. So as we move on in terms of our conflict management in either our grouping, either institutionally or in project work, it is not always geared towards the negative, okay? It can be geared towards the positive for those concerned to always agree and come up with a common point in what they disagree on. That is what we are going to be looking at right here and right now. And of course, as we progress with this is going to help us to identify the key conflict areas in an organization or in a project work, but also to be able to develop means to how you can resolve the conflicts effectively. There's resolving the conflicts, but also there is resolving the conflicts effectively. And that's what we're going to be looking at, okay? Taking you back a little bit, we said as a leader, you should be very effective in a number of ways. Very effective in your communication, very effective in the way you manage risk, very effective in the way you present yourself, very effective in the way you resolve conflicts. That's what we are going to be looking at. As a leader, you should be very effective in the way you resolve conflicts as well. But also, apart from just resolving, you make the best out of the conflict situations. In this case, we are saying the conflict situation should be helping you to learn and then be able to apply the knowledge always. Okay, that is what we are calling making the best out of the conflict situations. Okay, so these are the three key learning outcomes as we look at conflict management. Okay, which are very, very important to all of us. Of course, conflicts arise anywhere. There are conflicting situations at home, in our homes. There are conflicting situations between or among partners. There are conflicting situations among the workmates, you know, as you work with different stakeholders or different people, even among siblings, there are conflicting situations. As somebody who is a professional in conflict management, you should always weigh out and you know how best you can resolve or how best you can manage all these conflicting ideas. Okay, this is what we are learning this particular morning. It's now afternoon, this afternoon. Okay. Yes, so working together is not always easy. Okay. Even if you're working as relatives only, even if you're working as friends only, but the common point is working together is not always easy. You find workmates are conflicting. You find colleagues, people know themselves very, very well, are conflicting. Okay. You find even people do not know each other well, are conflicting. We are people of different professions. We have accountants here, you know, we have engineers here, we have IT people, we have M&E people, the programs implementers. You're now all coming under a common room, and that common room or that common house is an organization. Okay, so that does not mean that all your views are going to be the same. All your thoughts are not going to be the same. Whatever that you do will not be the same. In one way or the other, you're going to be conflicting, and you're going to, since you're working together, you find that something needs to be done in order to ensure everything has to move on well. In one way or the other, we are also not all from the same background, okay? Whether in terms of training, whether in terms of our belief, whether in terms of our tribes. In Africa, there are so many tribes, okay? So even when you work together with different people, you find all these are things that you need to put into considerations. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome you to be very, very good at resolving conflicts or conflict management in the different spheres that we have talked about. Okay? There's this statement that we always reflect on from John Child. And it says, I'm going to read it the way it is, okay? As conflict differences here in the world, as we cannot avoid it, we should therefore use it, okay? Instead of condemning it, we should set it to work for us. And we are saying the chief job of a mechanical engineer is to eliminate friction, okay? So the mechanical engineer's work is to eliminate friction. But it is true that he also capitalizes on friction. The transmission of power by belts depends on friction between the belt and the pulley. So the friction between the driving wheel of a locomotive and the track is necessary to hold the train. A long statement to reflect on, but this is what it means. Yes, the mechanical engineer is supposed to work to eliminate friction, but again, he needs the friction so that the pulleys can be able to move. The transmission of power can be able to happen, okay? So therefore, it means that even that friction, which we are calling the conflicting idea, is actually sometimes necessary. Necessary how? That is what we are going to be looking at. For you to be able to do the work, for work to be able to move on. If we are all perfect in all our work, maybe in one way or the other, we are not going to criticize ourselves. We don't need an outsider to come and criticize us. It is an insider who should come and then be able to criticize us. So in project work or in an organization, most people who work or join have varied reasons which are already shaped and also reshaped by their agents, by families, peer groups, and other religious organizations. Okay, therefore, what motivates workers differs from individuals to individuals, from time to time, but also according to situations. This is what I talked about earlier on. When we are together in an organization, people have their own reasoning, people have their own beliefs, people have their own religious affiliations, their peer groupings, the way they work as relatives or not as relatives. All these are factors that need to be put into considerations, okay? Yeah, so, but what motivates all these individuals differs from the way they think, the way they believe in their different things, and so on and so forth. Good. So conflicts have become part of the partial of human organizations world over. This indeed is a paradox because of the amount of energy and resources expended by organizations to prevent and resolve conflicts. Okay, so there's that researcher called Flippo. He attempted an explanation when he remarked that a total absence of conflict would be unbelievable, would also be boring, and a strong indication that conflicts are being suppressed. Okay. So according to the scholar called Flippo, he said that the total absence of conflict would be unbelievable, would also be boring, and a strong indication that conflicts are being suppressed. How do we therefore define conflict or a conflict? To add on to what other colleagues said, what is the meaning of conflict? According to different, okay, of course, different scholars have also defined conflicts in their different ways. For now, we are using the one by Six and then Williams, as of the 1981. The definition of conflict is a process which begins when one party perceives that one or more of his concerns have been or are about to be frustrated by another party. Okay? So this is how it starts. When I perceive that either my views or either my concerns, either my work are going to be frustrated by another party. That is the beginning or the thought about conflict. Another one says that a conflict is a clash of interests, values, actions, views, or directions between two or more parties. I love this actually more. And this is what Emmanuel and what Pauline talked about, okay? So it is not only a disagreement, but we look at it as a clash of interests, okay? A clash of values, actions, views, or directions between two or more parties. It is also a disagreement between individuals, depending on the direction in which you're defining it or in which you're looking at the meaning, okay? It can vary from a mild disagreement to a win or loss, can also be emotion-packed, can also lead to a confrontation, okay? So this is the meaning of conflict. I hope we're okay up to this point. Is everything okay up to this point where we are discussing the meaning of conflict? Please confirm. Okay. Okay. I think we can continue. So there's what we also have called an institutional conflict. Okay. Every time we talk about institutionally, we are looking at people working together, people who have come together for a common goal. Okay. or who have common objectives to be able to attain. That is what we are going to be looking at. The meaning of institutional conflict. Conflict that arises when people are working together, okay? We are saying it is a condition between workers who are interdependent in some way, acting in ways that create a business problem, okay? That is what we are talking about as serving a common goal. And we are saying conflicts exist whenever incompatible activities occur, and we shall be looking at. What are some of the forms of conflicts, okay? We have intrapersonal, intragroup, interpersonal, and then intergroups. We're going to look at it by saying in a simple way, conflicts arise within the group or out of a group, or conflicts arise between individuals or even out of those individuals who are together. Those are the different forms of conflicts, which we can expound on now that you have the idea. So according to the council, organizational conflicts can take the following forms, okay? Horizontal conflict, we have vertical conflict, and a role confusion, okay? Which we are going to be looking at. When we are responding to something as a researcher or as a scholar, this is how you respond to it. According to Pauline, according to Emmanuel, according to Francis, according to Shiba, according to each one of us, okay? That is if you're responding to something as a researcher, as somebody who has done some research. I told you I'm going to show you how you can do the Google Scholar, how you can do the Google search when you're working as a researcher, how you can do referencing, okay? This is referencing. According to the council, this is referencing that we are going to be looking at that. So organizational conflicts can take forms such as horizontal conflict. These are people within the same line of work, within the same hierarchy of work, are conflicting. When you talk about the vertical one, people who are at different levels of work, supervisor, subordinate level, line manager or line manager level, manager or officer level, are conflicting with each other. And also there's what we are calling the role confusion. Role confusion is people are not directly aligned to their roles. That is what we are talking about, as we shall be looking at it as we progress on. What about the main areas on conflict? So many here. The main areas of conflict: positions, fight for position or fight to maintain a position in an organization, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I always say, do not be a victim of positions, okay? Do not be a victim to be taken up, to take you up, or to allow your position to take up your role, or to be swallowed by your position. Okay? Very, very key here. Okay? Fighting to maintain a position. How do you fight to maintain a position? I always tell people, the best way you can fight to maintain a position is by doing the right work or the right thing, by delivering as expected, or even going beyond what is expected. A professor who taught me the first time, who taught me about consultancy skills and development, told me one thing. He said, when you join an organization and You find people who are always conflicting. You find people who are always in disagreement. You find people who are always complaining. You find people who are always looking at positions as what matters most. The best advice he can give is please find somewhere else which aligns with your skills, aligns with your levels, aligns with your training, where you matter, in short, okay? Find a place where you matter. And ladies and gentlemen, especially those majority of you who are upcomers, who are beginners career-wise, okay? Please, you need to know this even before you can start working in an organization. It is not bad actually to change an organization, okay? It is not bad. You may leave an organization which is actually paying you well, and you join an organization which is not paying you that too much money, but paying you some good money, some good package take home. An organization that believes in your work, an organization that values your work. Where I'm working currently, I want to tell you this is the same thing where I interfaced with, okay? I left an organization for a salary which was lower than what I was earning, okay? What does this mean? I left the organization where I'm working in currently. I left an organization paying me by 1.6 million less than what I was earning. Okay? What does that mean? It means a lot, okay, in the life of a professional. It means a lot to make that decision that I'm leaving this organization for a less salary by 1,600,000 Ugandan shillings. You know what 1,600,000 Ugandan shillings is? That is some good amount of money, okay? So 1,600,000 in Uganda, that is around $4,300, okay? Which is very, very rare. It involves a lot to be a critical thinker for you to be able to live that. But also, it involves a lot of things. How are you being valued at work? Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm also saying this, okay? As somebody who is coming up into the world of employment, okay? As people who are aiming big, as people want to achieve big, it's not a crime to leave an organization. However, it's better to live in terms of a growth in as you grow. It's better to live as you grow. For example, you leave an organization as an officer, you start working as a manager somewhere. It's not a crime. It's better for your career growth, okay? You leave as a coordinator, you become a senior coordinator somewhere. It's better for you, okay? You leave as a manager, you become a specialist somewhere. It's better. Or you leave one organization as a manager, you join the UN as an officer. It's much better. You're leaving for a bigger organization or for a bigger role in an organization, or you're leaving for a global role, okay? Okay, it's much, much, much better. These are things that you need to have at the back of your mind now, okay? Don't say, I want to work in this organization for 5, for 10 years. What are you looking for? Okay? Challenge yourself. Grow as somebody who is positioned to deliver in any organization. Move. Leave an NGO, join government, or leave government, join an NGO. Leave this organization, start your own consultancy firm, or start your own organization. There's no crime in doing that. Nobody should always deceive you that you have made a very big mistake to leave an organization, okay? Nobody should deceive you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, sharing my own story, I want to tell you, I have 12 years of experience, progressive experience in working with NGOs or in work generally. 12 years of progressive experience. And I want to let you know that within these 12 years, I have worked in 10 organizations. Doesn't mean each year I was working in each organization. No. There are organizations I joined, I worked in for a month or two, and I throw in my towel. I leave because it's not aligning to my training. It's not aligning to what I do. I'm not being valued until when I move to one and I see that, okay, here I think it's okay. But also, there are reasons why I've been leaving, okay? If a project ends and you need to earn money, your family needs you. Your family needs money. Your siblings need money. Your children need money. You're not going to continue in a place where you're not, where the project has ended and you're just waiting. I hope we are together in this. I'm saying this in order to prepare you, okay? When you're fired from an organization, as a professional, don't end there. Don't end there. Don't consider it as the end of the world. Reach out to colleagues and say, colleagues, where I've been working, things are no longer working out. I think I have made a decision to resign. I've made a decision to find a better place which values my skills, which values my technical abilities. And I have decided to leave. Please, if there's something for me, please, I am available for any opportunity. Okay? I am available for data collection. I'm available for full-time work. I'm available for part-time work. Don't limit your abilities. Okay? This is what I always tell people. Don't limit your abilities. The longest time I've been in an organization was 6 years. Okay? But I think now I'm aging. I'm now chasing the age where I need to settle. Okay? And where I'm working now, I am very happy by God's grace. The organizations, I work in different organizations. The organizations value my work. By God's grace, I deliver even beyond expectations. By God's grace, I am available to do what I need to do in an organization. My work satisfies my employers, okay? And I still have reasons to stay where I'm working, okay? The stakeholders that I work with, they don't complain. They are happy of the work that I do, okay? Yeah, so I feel even where I'm working, I can work for even longer time, which is very, very key. You always need to make such decisions early, okay? Yeah. So that is it. However, back to what I'm talking about, the positions that you hold in an organization, that position helps you, not anyone else. That position is to help you deliver for the organization. Whether you're a CEO, whether you're a managing director, whether you're any director, whether you are a coordinator, whether you're a manager, a senior manager, senior officer, you know, all these positions help you, okay, to deliver, not to suppress people, not to fight with anybody. Actually, for you who has undergone through this training, please don't fight with anyone, okay? It's not bad if someone wants to fight with you. Work technically, okay? I have worked with, with somebody who used, I can say who used not to believe in my work. Okay, not that. Somebody who looks at complaints, okay? Wants to hold you at a grip, wants to hold you where you have failed. And once I know of such a person, I become 3 times more intelligent such a person, okay? My role currently is to deliver hands-on delivery. I have a number of people I work with, true. I have a number of people I supervise, true. But I consolidate their work, okay? I set them up to do whatever they're going to do. But again, it's my role to consolidate and see that they have delivered to expectations. I don't fight with the people. I don't like to fight with people. However, it doesn't cost me to tell you where you're wrong. It doesn't cost me to tell you where you're not doing well. I support you in the process. If you have failed to deliver, we take on another procedure in a very transparent way. Okay? Not in a way that affects you, not in a way that affects me, but in a very transparent way. Don't fight for positions. Let your work move. Some of you, you're here, in few years, you're going to move to be in a very high roles, okay? In just a matter of time. Always tell yourself, have this self-confidence, just a matter of time, okay? To join UN, to join UNICEF, to join any organization where you want to be in, just a matter of time. To join a government institution, to join a university, to join an institute where you're going to be either be teaching, where you're going to get your degree, your master's, your PhD, is just a matter of time. Every other thing is possible, okay? This is the self-confidence I always have. I've worked in all these organizations. I know when they talk about a good organization, a good NGO, I know it. When they talk about a good university, I know it. Why? Because I have moved and I'm still working in all these institutions. Great. So fight for positions or fight to maintain a position in an organization. I've elaborated about that. Is one main area of conflict. 2, interest, financial interest, prestige, the social interest, the influence, political inflict, interest. All these are the various territories of conflicts or the main areas of conflict, okay? The financial interest. Some people want gains in all forms, okay? They want to gain in all forms. And what does that lead to? Conflict, okay? Some people want to gain even where they're not supposed to gain, okay? The influence, okay? The social influence. Some people want to be recognized all the time. And you find in such a way, it's affecting some people. The political influence, okay? Later on, I think as we conclude this course, I'm going to take you through an area which is not always in a timetable. You need to know the politics in an organization, the dynamics within an organization, okay? The dynamics within working with the people. Very, very key, okay? Then another main area of conflict is about the needs, okay? The psychological needs, safety, belonging, esteem, self-actualization. This is what we call the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? What do you need at a certain level? Very, very key. So these conflicts can either be constructive in a way that is positive or can also be destructive. Very, very key, okay? So it's important to know all this and also to be able to distinguish will the conflict be constructive or will the conflict be destructive? Constructive means the positive aspect. Destructive means the negative aspect. There are various views about conflicts which we're not going to dwell on. You can use this to guide you for your self-learning. The traditional view, the view that all conflict is bad and must be avoided. Also, of course, from your definitions, when you are defining it, Arthur also brought this. I can say Arthur is also a traditionalist in terms of conflict, how you view conflict. All conflicts being bad and must be avoided. The human relations view, and it says that the view that conflict is natural and inevitable. I think I belong to this class of those who believe that conflict is natural and inevitable. Interaction view, the people say that this is the most recent perspective, which proposes that conflict is not only a positive force in an organization, but that some conflict is actually absolutely necessary for an organization to perform. You remember what we talked about, the scenario I gave at the beginning? Yeah, so these are the main views regarding conflicts. The traditional view, the human relations view, and then the interaction view. Okay, colleagues, I think I am requesting for some 5 minutes so that we can take up some glasses of water. You can have some energy break at this point so that we can be able to grab something. Okay, so let's give ourselves some 5 minutes. Then is it 5? Okay, 5 minutes to 1:03. Let's come back and then we can start it right from here. You can keep on so that you can grab a glass of water or a glass of juice to give you more energy. Okay, yeah. So let's start off at that point. You may not drop out. You can keep on so that it's just an energy break. Thank you. In case you speak, I will not be able to respond to you immediately because I'm also grabbing something that can give me more energy to start off.
Hello, how are you? How is everyone? I have a question. Can someone take me through after the lecture how to, I don't know if my portal is the one that is not activated or why it's me who doesn't know how to use it. Because I tried to ask someone at work yesterday and they told me my portal is not activated. Yet I complained and sent a mail that I can't receive the downloads the lecturer sends us, and I can't get also the my payments do not reflect on my portal. So if anyone could help me, guide me, I'll be grateful. Was my question hard or I was speaking alone? Guys, good afternoon. As we are in a coffee break, I have a question. I need someone to help me assist me with my what? I can't access the downloads. I mean the recordings of the lectures. I'm not seeing approved payments of the payments I made on my portal. So I don't know if it's me or my devices with a problem or this is affecting any other person. And anyone who knows how to guide me, I would be grateful. Because I asked some colleague yesterday and I wasn't, they told me that that probably my thing in my account is not activated yet. So I need guidance. Thank you.
Hello, I'm back. Can we start off? Can we continue? Okay, so welcome back from that. I think we can continue. Okay, so great. So yes, so this is where we were discussing about the views on conflicts. Those who view conflict as something that is bad and must be avoided. The traditional view. We also have the human relations view. Conflicts, those who view it as something natural and inevitable. And then the interaction view, that conflict is not only a positive force in an organization, some conflict is absolutely necessary for the organization to perform. Yeah, so these are the three views on conflict. We have the conflict dynamic, the spiral model, and this helps us to understand the different, should I call it the graduation levels of conflict, if I may use that word, or how conflict keeps on progressing from one level to the other. Looking at the tip, the lower tip of, if you may start from the lower tip of the triangle, we are saying that that is the lower levels where things are actually easier to manage. Okay, let's first look at the items on the left-hand side, the signs, the disputes, the polarization, the segregation, and then the risk on violence, and so on, so forth. So let's look at it from that point. And then on the right-hand side is what happens at that level, okay? So it starts right from the signs. That is level number 1, okay? That a conflict starts right at the signs. And what happens? There are frustrations, the feeling of injustice, there are suspicions at that level. The suspicions are also about the hidden motives. You see that? This is where you start, making judgment that I think so and so is not talking to me. You're still within yourself, okay? I see the way so and so writes emails. This is to accuse me. This is to pinpoint me. This is to hold me somewhere. You see that? This is still within yourself. You're getting frustrated, even if you communicate to somebody that I'm going to be reaching office late, please understand when I reach at that point. But somebody will not be able to, to understand you. You're getting frustrated somehow. You see that? There's that feeling of injustice. And then suspicions, like you have said. Those are all still the signs. After the signs, the conflict level graduates or rises to the level of disputes. What happens at disputes, okay? Launching accusations. You start accusing somebody. Also, stereotypes, or stereotyping people. Some people get fixations on standpoints, okay? Launching accusations, somebody start the blames. Me, I'm thinking the way this manager is, I think this is undermining me, or this person is not believing in what I do, or is trying to distance from me compared to other staff. You see that? You're launching accusations. when you talk about stereotypes, somebody starts saying, I think so and so is like that. This person doesn't change. Or people who are like, people from such and such a place are like that. Okay? For them, when they work with you, they don't talk to you. When they work with you, they give you negative feedback all the time. You start stereotyping based on the way they are, where they come from, you see, and so on and so forth. Fixation on standpoints. Someone says, for me, this is what I've said, it must be like that. You just know a dispute is now trying to come. Okay? That is what we are calling fixation on standpoints. After disputes, it also graduates, the conflict level graduates to polarization. What happens at that point or at that level? There are increasing number of issues, okay? Perceived divergence of interest. People start creating allies and recognition, okay? You know, at workplaces, people are very good at creating allies. The allies can be based on gender, where ladies do things according to the way they know. The gentlemen are also on their own, okay? The allies can be in terms of, you know, a certain class of people, how they perceive their class to be. That's why you find in some organizations, there are people who take themselves to be at a certain level, okay? Let me, ladies, allow me to use you as an example here. Most ladies in some organizations, they look within the team, who are those people that they, you know, they align with more, that they talk to very, very well. You find when they are within the allies, the embossy or the discussions are going on very, very well. At that point, you find they even talk about the other group of the people. So and so is like that. Oh, the other people are like this. Okay? Sometimes they even want you to help them to talk about the others, or you to help them to hate the others. Okay? But also the same things with the gentlemen. The way they look, the way they do their things, the way they dress up, the way, that is what we call the need for allies. People start looking for the people that they align to more and start distancing from the rest. Next, we have segregation, okay? At segregation, we have no communication. There are rumors and exaggerations begin to appear. You see that? So at segregation, you find people don't want to talk to you. They don't. If you're doing something in group work, they look at the person whom they don't like. They move away from that group. So this person, my supervisor, in which group is he? Is in group 2. I think let me go to group 1 or group 3. You try to dodge to be in the same group with that person. You see that? So no communication. You find there are rumors, and people utilize the rumors very, very well. And also exaggeration of things. You hear something like this, you actually maximize it. You give it a more weight. You see that? And so on and so forth. So as the conflict moves from a lower level to a much higher level, there is escalation, okay? Escalation is moving, and at that point, there is a risk of violence. You see that? The violence can be emotional, the violence can be physical, the violence can be in terms of actually can cause also mental health issues, okay? Some people leave, actually majority of people leave organization, not because the organization is bad, but because the people are not the best, okay? The people are not the best. You're working with the people who are not believing in you, like I said earlier, and so on and so forth. So once there's risk of violence, there's a lot of escalation at that point. And the higher the conflict goes, the harder it becomes to manage. So it is easier to manage it at a much lower level compared to when it has escalated. I hope this is clear. We want to look at what are some of the sources of conflicts in an organization. Okay? What are some of the sources of conflict? I think we can start it right from here as a discussion again, and we look at what are some of these sources. Okay? According to the way you understand you understand conflict, or according to the way you have now understood it, what are some of the sources of conflict according to you? Okay? Please let us know. Let's open a discussion again right here and right now. The floor is open. Any of us, you can
Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Well,
Diana.
Bagalaliwe Diana. According to me, sources of conflict, I will give one source. It is cultural differences. Cultural differences can bring conflicts in an organization whereby there are some people that there are some cultures that have certain beliefs and others hate them or don't agree with them. They are like, let me go talk about what isn't it now, religious, like an organization that has Adventists and then other religions. You find that these people don't work on Saturday, the Adventists, they don't work on Saturday. You find that many organizations work from Monday to Saturday, and then they are ending maybe Saturday by 1 in the afternoon. Now you find that maybe the manager comes up and is suggesting that we shall work from Monday to Saturday, late evening. And then these people are saying that for us, our religion is telling us we should not work on Saturday. On Saturday, it is the Sabbath day, we have to go for praise and worship. So those differences bring up conflicts. Those people can never understand each other because of that. So that is what I can say about sources of conflicts.
Thank you so much, Diana. Diana has mentioned very pertinent issues. The divergent beliefs in terms of the culture, in terms of the religion, which are very, very key in an organization. Okay. Thank you so much. Any other submission?
Good afternoon.
Yes, Julius.
Thank you. For me, I will speak about the departments within an organization. For example, I work with insurance and I'm in claims department. So you realize that the underwriting department wants the claim to be processed in 1 day. And yet claims, there are some processes and procedures that we have to go through. Maybe the client has not shared some documents, and now the underwriter has come because they want their client to be what? To be worked on like as soon as possible. So we realize that conflicts will arise. Then also on the side of weak claims, we may realize that there is an exclusion or an uninsured period that wasn't put in the policy, and it was the one that caused that resulted into a claim. So you realize that now we are trying to repudiate or reject a claim, and the underwriter wants that claim to be settled. Okay, so in the end, conflicts may arise. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Julius. That is very, very key. Now that is within an organization, but also trying to work with different stakeholders, based balancing their needs. Okay, you remember what we talked about? The needs, the different levels of needs: self actualization, the basic needs, and so on and so forth. Very, very good. Thank you, Julius. I think I can have two more, then we call it done. You can give us based on the scenarios that you yourself you interfaced with, or you yourself you've been seeing happening within where you are. Yes, Francis.
Yeah. So for me, it's a kind of personal experience. So back home, before coming to Uganda to study, I was working.
I hope you find someone and they're very rigid. You
Pauline, you can
someone
mute.
that doesn't want to adopt.
Pauline, first give an opportunity to Francis, then I think you can come in.
So as I was saying, so it was a personal experience. I believe that conflict comes through dishonesty and not being fair when you are in a working space. So before coming to Uganda, I was working as a principal for a school, or entire school. I was the head, I was controlling that school. And I got that job through a lady from my church. She reached out to me that our school doesn't have a head and there's no qualified individuals to run. And at that time, I just got my bachelor, even though I was also working, but I decided to take that job to earn more for myself. So when I took the job, she told me that she could pay me like 300 US, which is like 1 million Ugandan shillings. I accepted, knowing that it was the referral wages for my qualification at that time, and knowing that that was what the school can generate for me. So when I started working for her, setting our system, doing all other administrative work, making sure that teachers are teaching according to curriculum, and making sure that we are in line with Ministry of Education, making sure that teachers teach all these things. I started doing it. Then I also started handling some extended document for the school. I realized that, one, the school was being sponsored by an organization that is in Sweden. So the school was sponsored, and they donors pay teachers and they pay for students' tuition. But Red,
Francis, you're on and off. Are you done? In case you're speaking, we can't hear you. Francis, can you hear me? Is there anyone who can hear Francis? Okay, I think Francis went off. It might have been a network issue. Yes, we're going to be waiting for him to come, but Pauline, you are making a submission. Do you think you can continue at this point? Hello, Pauline. Were you making a submission? Okay, is anyone ready to also tell us this? Yes, Pauline.
Yes, please. I was talking about personality differences
Sorry, I went off.
and how they can lead to conflict. In my case, I
Pauline, which point did you
I'm not
mention?
going to mention
Personal
the
what?
organization, but there are some people that are used to a particular way of doing person, someone who is used to a particular way of doing things and they do not want to learn, like they're rigid. They do not want to change how something is done or a new form of having something done. And when you present it, they look at it like you're creating chaos. So such things would, I think, lead.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Very, very good submission there. Thank you. Being rigid is one thing that we talked about when we were discussing about leadership, okay? It is one thing that can affect a number of things. According to Pauline's submission, is one thing that can also lead to conflict. Thank you, Pauline. Yes, Francis, I think we can give you an opportunity to complete, then we move on. You are dropped off.
Yeah, so as I was saying, so when I started working on budget for the school, because at the beginning of every school year, she would do a budget, how many students enroll, the teachers, and the benefits. She will send the budget. So I need to do that budget for her. And I started seeing those documents. So I realized that to me, she wasn't being fair. And she wasn't like paying staffs according to what was budgeted for them by the organization. And I actually did well for school. So my next plan was to tell her to increase my salary or I leave the job. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and I just traveled to come and study. So to me, these instances lead to serious conflict when someone is trying their best, sacrificing for an institution, and yeah, there's dishonesty by the leaders. It creates serious predicament. That's my summation.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis, for giving us that work-based scenario. Yes, all these things happen. Actually, they are real. When you're in an organization, what Francis, a scenario like the way Francis has explained, are very, very real. Okay, and and they are the ones that actually work most. So you find different organizations. Once you have joined, even they don't want you to leave. You find sometimes even the way they are treating you is not good, but they don't want you to leave. You wonder what they're up to, what point are they trying to make? See that? The way they are treating you is not the best. They're not paying you good salary. The working condition is, the work conditions are really so tight. But again, people do not want you to leave. Or they frustrate you in the process. You see that? Yeah, but like also the way I explained earlier on, if it is really, there's nothing so much binding you in the organization, okay? You're born to leave, okay? You can always leave. You find a good or a better place that fits you. Yeah, but based on what Francis said, within the organization, a lot of them happen, okay? Yeah. So thank you all for your submissions. I think we can proceed or move faster so that now that we have discussed them, I'm just going to be listing them. The points are quite many. Goal incompatibility, people being divergent from the goal, the structural relationships, okay, the hierarchy or the positions, the scarce resources, not every person or not every department being able to get the resources that others are also getting. Communication distortion, very, very key here, okay? Communication distortion, especially if not all of you have not been communicated to at the same time, okay? For example, someone tells you, please tell your supervisor to improve the way it does things. I'm just giving as an example, okay? Now, what happens here is that if you tell your supervisor, the tone may also not be the same way when the author or the originator of the message would have said it. The timing would also not be the best. Someone may misinterpret. You see that? And all sorts of things. There's a gentleman in my village. He's a very, okay, not in my village, in my sub-county. Excuse me. He's a very wealthy man. He has a lot of factories. The factory makes wine. The factory makes some local, drinks, and they sell. Now, in the previous election, not this one that ended this year, not the one that happened at the beginning of this year. By previous, I'm meaning the one of 2026. This gentleman, I think I said, no, there was one person who was contesting to be a member of parliament. And he said, you see, what the other man is doing is good. He was meaning the one who has set up factories. What he's doing is good. Because if such a thing continues, there will be so many factories which are going to be employing so many people. You see that? That there will be a number of factories in the place, and the factories are going to be employing a number of people. Now, this rich man misquoted this man, okay, and said, you know what? The other man who is contesting wants to bring so many people to open up factories here so that to increase the jobs. You see that? That is the communication distortion at that level, okay? And some people in an organization deliberately give wrong information. Human beings are of all kinds. They deliberately give wrong information. They distort any kind of communication, whether they have heard it from someone or they have been told directly. They always want to distort. Individual differences, thank you, the way Pauline explained, very, very key. Status difference, I talked about this. People feel like for them, they're at another level. Let me give an example. If for them, they're in the same organization with you, they drive cars maybe of, their values are there according to them. They would look at their statuses as people who should not align with the rest. You see that? Ambiguous or overlapping jurisdictions, very, very key here, where you cross in people's lanes. So you want to do their work that they are supposed to do themselves. Peer pressure, time pressure, very, very good. Also, there's peer pressure sometimes. Time pressure, if, for example, in the organization I support, we have 7 projects. When the month is ending, like now we are nearing the end of month, you find you're struggling with the people to provide reports, provide data, provide success stories, provide work plans. You can see all this, okay? So you're struggling with 7 donor projects every month. The time pressure can be another things altogether. So for me, what I do, I tell them, if you don't submit on 25th your report will be the last to work on. You see that? So that is normally what happens. More, we have the skills gap, very, very key. Okay. The skills gap. You know, people feel they don't have the skills that the rest have. Okay. Very, very key here. Social cultural differences. Someone explained this in terms of the religions, in terms of the tribes, unreasonable rules, standards, and policies. Very, very key here. Unreasonable rules, okay? Where they tell you, for example, for you to be able to work that day, you must come before 7. Are we in school? Okay, or workplace? You must enter the gate of the organization by 7 a.m. You see that? You really see that this is very unreasonable. Okay. Some organizations, I know of a school that has makes teachers to put on suits. Okay. You must put on a suit. You must put on a necktie every day that you're in school. Sincerely, for me, who is a person of t-shirts, you find it becomes hard for me to work in such organization. For me, who is a person who likes free wears, you wear your t-shirt inside, you put on a shirt out, and you leave the buttons open. You find such organizations, I cannot be able to fit it. For me, I like putting on the specs. For me, I like putting on my caps. So you find in such organizations, it's very hard to fit in, okay? Because of the unreasonable rules. Even, for example, in this class, we have not set a standard that, you know what? If I've not set the Google, the Zoom, I mean that if by this time you have not joined, please, you don't need to join. No, we don't always work with such unreasonable rules, okay? Fear, very, very key. Perceived oppression, self-explanatory. Cliques, allies, okay? Stress, very, very key. All here are really self-explanatory that we cannot, elaborate on more. Others, we have sexual relationships. Very, very key, okay? People who really, especially supervisors, who feel like they can always engage in sexual relationships, even with their subordinates, okay? Even with some other staff within the organization. Number one, you lose respect. When you start doing such a thing in an organization, no one is going to respect you. No one is going to believe in you, okay? Every time you make a presentation, all people are seeing is not you making a presentation. It's you seeing, they are seeing somebody who is always very good at initiating sexual relationships, which are really not good, loses trust in you, the integrity goes, and so on and so forth. Okay. Favoritism, seeking favors. Okay. People avoid seeking favors. How do you seek favors? Okay. When the CEO is around, you only do things, you want to do things to please the CEO. You want to discredit others. It's not good. Okay. It's not good at all. Favoritism, others being left out, and you move on with other people. Okay. Poor communication, we talked about this. Inadequate resources mentioned. Lack of trust. Lack of delegation. Delegation is very, very key. Why? Because delegation helps others to know what you know. Delegation gives an opportunity for somebody to learn. Delegation supports some people to take up roles they would have taken a longer time to do, either tasks or roles to do. Okay. Now there's this key one, monopoly in decision making. For you, you only want when when people are for group discussions, you only want to write your own points, okay? And you don't listen from the rest. It's not good, okay? Power struggle, okay? People want to assume power in a quick way and very, very fast as well. power struggle, like we talked about it earlier on. Let the work you do to take you to the levels that you can attain. Okay. I became a manager. The first time I was a manager in an NGO was at the age of 26. Okay. You find the organization also has people who are 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, but I'm not assumed that role. And those are the people who would want to fight. Okay. But let your work to take you to the role that you can or you deserve. Are we together, colleagues? I always repeat this. Let your skill set, let your technical abilities to always take you to the role that you would have, to the role that you deserve. When you're doing something, do it the best way possible. I am in this class. There's nobody who is supervising me saying, facilitator, you see, things are like this. You see, when you're delivering, you have to be like this. Or even if we don't have a class at all, no one is there to see that. But have that self-drive to do what you're supposed to do. And God is seeing. Nobody is seeing you, but God is seeing, and God rewards your good works, your good deeds. Okay? In the organization I work, where I work as the organization where I work now, I work for 8 days a month. Okay? 2 days every week is when I go to office. The rest of the days, I work from anywhere. Okay? Anywhere. I can work from another country, can work from my village, can work from my bed. Okay? But you have to be accountable. Okay? You have to be accountable to yourself and do the right thing. Always have this philosophy. No one is seeing me is true, but God is seeing me. And God rewards the work of our hands, depending on how your hand has been. There is also failure to take decisions. If you don't make a decision, okay, you're going to be delaying other people. You're not going to deliver at the right time. There is one called blame games, okay? For you, you're a master of blaming others, okay? Even in the home, you're a partner who is very good at blaming everything. If it wasn't my wife, if it wasn't my husband, if it was not because of these children, if it was not because of the relatives, you mention a lot of things. Blame games, you waste time, you waste a lot of energy, you waste a lot of, a lot of things you could have done, you're still wasting time blaming others. Okay? Take a decision and ensure that something is done. Selfishness, self-centeredness, to own mistakes and responsibilities. Selfishness, where someone knows in that person's vocabulary, it's only I, me, and myself. Okay? Not good to be self-centered. When you're a manager, there is a presentation to be made. Why not front your people? Why not delegate them? Why not front your people you work with to do that work? Okay? Tell them, okay, we have a presentation next week. This is how we are going to divide in our departments. We are going to agree on what to do. So and so you're going to pull for us the PowerPoint presentation. So and so you're going to present. Okay? Don't be self-centered. You want to be the one to stand. You want to be the one, the bosses, to know that you actually are doing a lot of work. Actually, let me tell you, when your subordinates present in a bigger meeting, you get the credit. Okay? Because you're preparing them. You're making them rise up. Okay? There's lack of knowledge on subject matter. Ignorance is a very, very bad thing. It's a source of conflict, by the way. Lack of knowledge on the subject matter. They are talking about this. For you're speaking just from layman's understanding, or you don't even have anything to add. Yet people assume you know a lot. Okay? Yeah, there is a failure, very, very good, and very key also here. Okay, so all these are the various sources of conflict that prevail in an organization. Okay, we want to know, do conflicts matter? Yes or no? What are the costs of okay, do conflicts matter? This is supposed to be a discussion, but we are moving on from our discussion. So earlier on, of course, we saw that there are conflicts which are constructive and there are those which are destructive. So it means they matter. The costs of unresolved conflict: lost work time and productivity, the loss of employees or the turnover, damage to organization or school reputation, sabotage, theft, damages, lowered job motivation, health costs due to stress, legal costs due to litigation. So all these are the costs of unresolved conflict. What about the positive effects of conflict? Diffusion of more serious conflicts. Once you manage one conflict, you are counteracting or you're managing a number of them that may spring up. Okay? Yes, that's one. Two, stimulation of a search for new facts or resolutions inspires creativity. So to be able to resolve a conflict, of course, you may be forced to do some investigation. And in that, you're becoming creative on how best you can utilize it. See that? So these are the positive effects of conflict. There is a increase in group cohesion and performance. Good. Assessment of power or ability. Good. Can be an opportunity for growth and learning. There is can be opportunity for growth or learning. Sorry, I dropped off. So assessment of power or ability. It can lead to assessment of power or ability. Some people call it the workloads. Okay, very, very key. Can challenge us to value differences. Very, very good. And also align people well. Sometimes people need to seek job fulfillment elsewhere. Remember what I told you? You find a place which suits your abilities or level or skills. We have eye opener to management. That is a problem. Good. Gives an opportunity to attend to staff issues. Good. Helps to learn to react to each other. You see that? Helps to learn to react to each other. That is learning by experience. Helps to build self-esteem if managing it. Allows room for reconciliation. Lead to intra-group unity. May lead to new innovations in the long run. The question is, how will the new innovations come? So these are the so many positive effects of what? Of conflicts. And also here there's a cost of unresolved conflict that we looked at. What about the negative effects? The negative effects are just the opposite of what we looked at. Impediments to smooth working, affecting work, diminishing output, obstructions in the decision-making, formation of competing affiliations within the organization. But we are saying the overall result of such negative effects is to reduce employees' commitment to organizational goals and organizational efficiency. Good.
It makes the workplace to be unfavorable. It leads to poor performance, abuse of reporting lines, sabotage, negative attitude towards work, increased resignations, and staff turnover in subordination, and also hinders teamwork. There's physical assault or fight, demotivation, creates stressful environments within the workplace. There's premature aging. Find somebody from nowhere, you're looking to be someone of 40, 50 years because of the stress that you have been undergoing through. What are the ways to manage conflict in an organization? Change the organizational culture, okay? Very, very key. Change the status quo and encourage innovation. Use communication, planting possible discussion points in organizational committees to clarify ambitious messages. Excuse me. We have bring in outsiders to be able to support you, okay? Some people do what is called the mindset change training. Very, very good. Is one of the ways. Restructure. A structure can be used to lessen, however, it may also create more conflict. Encourage competition. Okay. Introduce zero budget where each department must justify their resource demand regardless of past allocation. There's what we call the devil's advocate. You know what a devil's advocate? Who a devil's advocate is? A person who purposely presents arguments that run counter to those proposed by the majority. This acts as a check against the group and can improve quality of decision making. For example, when you're in for a meeting, every discussion has already been done, everything. Then they ask in a meeting, is there anyone who has something to say? There's somebody who wakes up from nowhere and starts saying, I think as an organization, we need to improve the way we do our things. There's a lot of rape happening. There's a lot of defilement, a lot of sexual harassment. You find it's targeted to you, but this person is bringing it in the whole organization. Why? So that discussions and decisions can be made based on all that. Very, very key. Understand the culture of the organization. Be an investigator. Okay. Effect positive change gradually. Very key. Be a role model yourself. Do what you want others to do. That is being a role model. Okay. You yourself being a role model. Yeah, the points are so many. I have listed them, but I hope they are making sense to you. How to resolve it? There are short-term strategies and long-term strategies. In a short term, you can have meetings, negotiations, counseling, disciplinary measures. However, in the long term, team building, training, collective planning, and decision making, do research, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. I hope somehow you have been able to understand to a bigger degree what conflict management is. Is that okay? Is there any question? Is there any question?
I do have
Pauline, we can't hear you properly.
How do you address conflict?
Please.
I have a question just out of curiosity. How do you address conflict if all you've done and change? do you just leave? Do you just walk away? How do you resolve that kind of being in the middle of everything?
When no change is trying to happen, even if you have used most measures, not so?
Yes, please. But this is where there is leadership that changes every after 3 years, 2 years. So how do such an organization?
Colleagues, can we all respond to this lady together? Can we all respond to Pauline together as conflict managers, okay? Or as professionals in conflict management? Okay. Good, Immaculate, thank you. Colleagues. Can we respond to Pauline? Pauline is saying, if you're trying to resolve conflicts and you see nothing is happening, what happens? Okay. That's a very, very good question, by the way. Albert is typing something in the chat, but can somebody respond to what he said? Julius, how do you do it from your workplace?
Well, thank you. What we do, we still liars.
Joey, Lisa, you will also respond. Yes, Francis, continue.
Yeah, we do argue, but later on or after, because it's one organization. So we now look at developing the organization other than personal issues. So we go back on the table and look at how we can save this client who is in trouble, has gotten a claim and now wants compensation. Okay. So he wasn't the one who either excluded that peril that wasn't put in. So what we do, we can engage the insurer because we are brokers. Then we talk to them. We see the relationship between now the client, or we tell them that our client is our boss. Therefore, let us prioritize the boss now, and we complete this. So we manage it like internally and the insurer, but we still work on settling that claim.
Okay. So thank you, Julius. Julius is bringing it in such a way that it doesn't affect the client or doesn't affect the business of the organization. Not so, Julius?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Albert is saying, I believe that's on a human level. You can decide to move on if it's necessary, which is also good. Moving on to you avoid it and then you ignore it and you move on. That's according to Albert. But also, I think, I may not be absolute, but I think, Pauline, once you try as an individual and things have failed, you have tried to communicate well, you have tried to ask for forgiveness, you have tried somebody to support you in the process. Okay, let me give an opportunity to Joanita. Then I will give an opportunity to Joy Lisa.
Thank you so much. From my perspective, I think, first of all, we need to analyze what conflict it is. Because, yes, the conflict might be there, but it has something maybe that is skipped. So we can't just come in with a solution to that conflict. So we have to understand the level, the gravity, and where it originated from, then to sit down and bring up an idea. First of all, when we listen, we understand. Then proper communication. We have to communicate the conflict well so that everyone really understands what is on table and we find a better solution. Sometimes when you see like there is a hand that is not actually giving you the help and that's the hand you need to help out, you have to air out the reason as to why you want this conflict resolved. So I think it's always better to understand the conflict first, analyze it, and then we find a better solution for it. That's it from me.
Thank you, Joanita. Joanita is taking a leader's approach. Investigate, assess, investigate, understand in details. Very, very good. Okay, this is very, very key. Thank you so much, Joanita, for that. It's very key, colleagues. Sometimes as a leader, when you know something, even if it's it's on a negative side, first understand it, okay? Don't just approach. Sometimes you may be in bad books with the management. That is what we shall talk about towards the end. You know, politics in an organization, which we call organizational politics, okay? It's good or it's better to first understand what happens, understand it critically, know how to address it, and so forth. And then that will help you to take an appropriate action, okay? And once you have understood, you will also know what kind of action that you're going to take. Very, very key. Thank you. Yes, so Joy Lisa, could I give you an opportunity? Then today our sister from southern part of Africa has not spoken. I don't know if everything is okay. The two ladies, Joy Lisa and then our sister from southern Africa. Yes, everything is okay from me. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to also add something by saying that if you have really tried all possible ways as an individual and things are not working out, in an organization, Pauline, I do believe that at least there are people that can support you in the process, okay? Within, okay? For example, if you have a supervisor who really understands you, try to talk to the supervisor. I'm talking about a supervisor who understands you. A supervisor who is not only a supervisor, who is a leader to you, a manager to you, okay? It's not a crime to talk to the person and say, sincerely, I am facing this difficulty. Yes, we had a conflicting idea with so and so, but amidst all actions I've taken, I think the person has not yet embraced that we need to get united or we need to work together. So I would request your involvement to support me if you can talk to the person, because I've tried. You see that? You request from that perspective. If that has failed, you can move to another person. Another person in this case can also be the supervisor or the line manager of that person. These are the decision-making dimensions that we can always use. You reach out to the line manager and say, so and so, the same way you talk to your line manager. I have been, we had a conflict. We are disagreed on some point or on something with my colleague, so and so, who is under your department or who is one of the people you supervise. However, to be sincere, I've tried so that we can start working together. Okay. If that has also failed, you know, you can always move on, okay? Moving on to another level but your aim should be the people to support you, to be able to talk to the person. Maybe they will listen to, maybe that one will listen to the rest, okay? Yeah, so, but don't go in a form of reporting, okay? Don't be a prophet of doom in an organization where your work is to report or to blame others. Do something to create a lasting change, okay? Yeah, so that is what I think you can always do. Get involvement of other people you trust, people who are leaders in the organization, not people who hold positions only. People who are leaders, whom you know can take a very systematic approach and talk to the person, okay? There are people, when they talk to you, they really win your heart. When they talk to another person, they also win the hearts of such a person. And the person will really calm down and say, be sincere, so and so really wants to work well with you, really wants to, to collaborate with you, but you have not been willing. Why? Is there any problem? Is there something that person can do? I do believe that when you have such leaders in the organization, Pauline, there will be some degree of change that is going to happen. Yeah. Disagreements happens a lot. Let me tell you, in an organization or in a department actually, the biggest forms of disagreements happen when there is that time of appraisal or assessing your performance. That is when it actually happens a lot, okay? It happens a lot because sometimes you feel like the supervisor will not assess you well. The supervisor may have some bias and so on and so forth. I remember even myself, I was interfaced with such a scenario, I think 3 years ago. I told the lady who was my supervisor, I told her, I think you're pushing me so to the corner, huh? And this is not the direction in which I want our appraisal to be. You're pushing me to the corner and this is going to affect me. But also I need to let you know that this appraisal to me won't change anything, okay? That's one of the things that I have always also communicated to somebody, okay? Yeah, so I think that's all. Unless there's any other question, we can always continue with the discussion. You can reach out and then we continue with the discussion and so forth and so on. So I wanted...
maybe before you leave,
yes, Julius.
I would like you to share those notes, eh?
Pardon?
The notes.
The notes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so immediately after here, I'm going to upload them. I'll take a few minutes, then I upload them on the e-learning platform. I inform you that the notes are already uploaded, so you can access them. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, Francis.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Yes. And it's pertaining to people like when you're in a workspace, there are people that bring their traditional and belief, and they think that everyone are mandatory to follow that. For example, you're working with someone, and that person feels that they are your mom or your dad just because they are older than you. And they want you to behave to them the same way their kids at home behave to them. And I've worked with people like that, and they have irritated me a lot. I want to know, how can you handle people with such mindset coming to a work environment thinking that they should be treated the way their children treat them, thinking that their traditional beliefs should be accepted by everyone. So I just want to know.
Wow. Thank you so much, Francis, for being very, very open. I told you in a workplace, really, these are things you interface with. This is what Francis is asking, is the reality, okay, of what you find on the ground. The organization I told you that I left for where I'm working currently, indeed is the very kind of thing that I was interfaced with. Yes, I was working under somebody. We all had the same years of experience. And this is a person who felt like, and of course for me at the early stages, I got very good learning to position me. I told you I moved from one organization to the other, but helped me to learn a lot, especially the practical delivery. So this time I was working with somebody who could no longer, embrace that we have to work together. You can all be experienced people, even if someone is in the lower positions. Now, that because of that, we had a lot of conflict. But Francis, I do believe that there's one person who said that don't always take people, don't drive people to the corner of their expertise. What is their expertise in this case? To look low on you. Their expertise is to diminish you. Their expertise is to talk ill about you, to do whatever bad thing. Don't drive them towards their corner or their line of doing all those sorts of bad things. What does that mean? You have to do things differently. Of course, for now, by God's grace, you're still working there. You have not gotten another job. You cannot ask if they're abusing you. Some of them might be having powers, by the way. They are doing bad things to you, but they may be having, even powers for you to get fired from an organization. I would assume that the one good thing to do is accord them the level of work-based respect that they deserve. If the person is your supervisor, work with them as your supervisor. When they delegate you, when they give you something to do it and end there. Don't engage in conflict because the person is conflicting with you, okay? For now, that is what is supporting you, okay? But in so doing, you'll be looking at also even a better place where you can find a peace of mind, where your mental health really matters, okay? Yeah, so that is what I'm looking. That's what I can say for now. Don't take them to that corner of their expert. Don't do what they are doing to you, to them. Speak to them well, but also in a way of speaking them to well to them. In one way or the other, be open and tell them that I'm really very sorry to tell you this, but when this happens, it affects me. It affects my work. You see that? When you say that, some of them will get to know that, okay, now my goal is achieved. I have now made this person to feel exactly the way I wanted, okay? You bring in that point and say, this affects me, this affects my work. I would kindly request, as my supervisor, as my workmate, please let us work together. Maybe we can change the approach and then we'll be working together. Trust me, however much the person will feel bad, you have done your part, and that right thing you have said or you have done is going to haunt the person for a very, very long time. Okay? When someone tells you the right thing to do, somebody you're disturbing, somebody, and then that is the person who tells you the right thing to do. I don't want to do it the same way. However, I give you the respect you deserve. However, I support you in all the ways. So you see that, Francis, huh? That is what I can say for now. I don't know if that is okay with you, or there's something you would like to add, or any other person whom you feel like you can add something, who feels like you can add something. Yes, please.
Actually, I don't have anything to add on to what you said regarding Francis' question. I have my own to add. Since we're talking about conflict management. So we've had a leader. I feel, to me, from what I've learned today, his approach to solving conflict is not so appropriate because based on the levels of different personalities at office or in an organization, we have different levels of understanding, even in terms of maybe like knowledge. Like when you take issues to do with support staff, yeah, there are people who want to be recognized. They want to be seen everywhere because maybe they've overstayed in an organization. They feel whatever input or whatever thing that they've said should be chosen. And when it's not, your suggestions are taken in, they come behind you and say something else in terms of dishonesty, just like to disorganize. Yeah. So in such a situation, how will you handle such conflict that arises? Thank you.
Please, I'm very sorry. I would request that you can say that again, because I thought you were actually responding to Francis. I request that you say that again so that we are specific on the way we're going to respond to you.
I think it was network. I was saying, in a situation where you're in an organization, there are people who've been there before you, like I would say the seniors. But of course, in terms of knowledge, in terms of experiences, you've had that differences. But they always want to be heard more than ever, whoever speaks. And in a situation they are not heard, the decisions are not taken, they come behind, maybe like in terms of dishonesty or trying to maybe like say something against you so that you get problems. Yeah. So in such a situation where a leader does not also listen to both of you and take the side of the other person reporting, how will you handle such a conflict that arises? Because it's so demotivating as you're working in a team.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Anyone who wants to respond to Peace Evelyn? Please, we are all conflict managers now. Okay. Let me try. Okay, in most cases, when somebody wants to belittle you, also this is almost the same line with what Francis said. Okay. The most important thing is that, I don't know whether Polly or someone else said, first do your assessment or do your assessment or your investigation and understand the kind of person you're working with. Okay. Once you have understood the kind of person you're working with, whatever that they do is not a surprise. See that? Whatever that they do is not a surprise. How? Once you have known that this supervisor is a difficult supervisor, this supervisor does not value someone's work, looks at where there are only mistakes and capitalizes on them. Whatever that supervisor will do is not going to be a surprise at all, because you have already understood the person. So it's good to understand the person you're working with. Very, very key and very, very nice. It's even better to understand everyone in the organization. You know who is corrupt, you know who is in each and every way. That is point number one. Point number two, Peace Beatrice, it's also very important when you can always bring up a point. If someone doesn't use it, it's well and good, okay? You can tactically, you can actually bring up your point and say, I am suggesting, I am thinking, can we also have this in addition to yours? You see that? So you're trying to tell the person that, yes, you have made a lot of points which have been, the person has made a lot of points for suggestions, which have actually been utilized. However, there are others that can be included to ensure that even your voice is heard. You see that? But I know to a bigger extent, our levels of expertise differs. Sometimes there are some people who feel like for them they have all the knowledge. They are the authors of all the knowledge. Knowledge starts and ends with them, so they don't want to listen to others. If in this class I had considered it that since I am the facilitator, the rest of you, the points that you share are null and void. They actually cannot help anybody. Where would we be adding to? What would be the point to learn, okay, or to support each other? We accommodate everything, and where we need to modify, we always modify, okay? So I don't know if I've responded to you directly, Peace Evelyn. Let me give an opportunity to Francis.
Yeah, so you see, her concern on not being motivated is something that is very, very serious in any work environment. So I had that same experience. It was my first job experience. I was an intern, and I just graduated from college. I was an intern. There was a company in my country called Firestone. They deal with rubber plantation. So I was an intern, and I was assigned in the environmental department. My boss, he was called Dr. Hammond Brown. This guy is a doctor, and he got his PhD from America. So he was like an expatriate. He was working. So we started working with this guy, and when we first came, this guy he's someone that actually he doesn't knows the content of the work that he is doing, but yet still he improved to know, and he always make you to feel that you don't know. He will bring a discussion for ideas, and you will give him the best suggestion, and in front of you he will tell you that it is not fit. He will trash your idea, and he will tell you that go and think more. He will even degrade your studies. He will be like, what were you guys learning? How did you get your bachelor's? And degrading you guys. And what you told him, surpassing it, when you are just moving around the company, your idea that he trash, you will see your idea posted, especially because we normally deal with waste management strategies and all these strategies, things to do to put insufficient waste management practices. So you recommend to him, he will, in front of him, he will tell you that it is too low, you should go and do more. Then when you are just passing after work, you will see what he trash. So at first, when you don't, as you say, you first need to understand who you are working with. At first, that guilt, you start to judge your own thinking, your own intelligence. I started to judge my intelligence. Maybe, maybe I'm weak, or maybe I'm not well prepared, or maybe I wasn't focusing my study. That was my thinking at first. You try to judge your intelligence, you try to judge your own training. But mind you, as I sat down and understood this guy, I tried to study him, and I tried to do my own background investigation all over the company. He's someone that he thinks that everyone knows, and he was very hated for that. Imagine he came and they assigned him to 4 departments. He was controlling environmental, wastewater treatment plant, quality control lab, and safety. Due to his attitude, he is only left with 1 department, which is environmental. And even that environmental, he cannot even perform. So there was a time in the office, I think he was preparing for audit, where they do environmental audit. So they do both internal and external. Because when you are doing environmental audit, there are so many ISO regulations that you need to follow, and the company need to be in line with. So we prepare for this audit, and unfortunately, you know, in African setting, it wasn't law, and the hard drive that we save all our document on, someone went into the office and stole all the work that we did. Imagine, and the audit was like 3 days. Those guys was coming from South Africa to come and do that audit. 3 days. We came to office the next morning. We saw the whole office open. So it was an internal for people who were fighting him. They wanted to take him up. So you're very, very confused. Like, and they didn't know what to do. You know, luckily for us, we had all the hard copy of those documents. And you know, so he called us. We need to do this. And, you know, he started like motivating us, acting like he respect our intelligence. So we told him that we can do this, but we just need time and full support. So we take like 3 days. We couldn't, like, there was no even. We were there. We work as we are finding document. We are preparing it, presenting it, because when these auditors come, they will ask you for this other standard, and they want to see your training you have done, because we need to go around and do training. We'll do job safety analysis training. We'll do environmental awareness training. We'll do check and control, all these things. You cannot just tell them that, oh, you cannot just tell them that I've done this. They want to see the training attendance of the employees that take part in the training. You see? So it was there. We did all that. We make sure that we prepare this document. 3 days, no sleeping. When the auditor came, we was in the room. Again, he presented us like like people that he was actually teaching. Imagine, we that saved his job. That guy made like 60,000. That's how he presented us. And so the author, you know, we actually do these things. You know, we came from different institutions. So we sat down, we will present this document and we will explain the basic procedure. After that, we went to the various sites, they do their own personal observation. And the audit was exceptional. All the requirement was met. And the auditor even asked her if our qualification, and they were surprised to know that we are just students with first job experience with bachelor of science degree. So after that audit, there was no motivation. There was nothing, even time for salary.
Okay. Francis, are you done? I don't know if you're speaking because I've lost you. Hello, Francis. Okay, great. So we have had a lot that Francis has shared, which is related to what our friend this evening also shared. But to a bigger extent, we can see that these are things that happen really in an organization, especially at the time when somebody is like a new staff, or when you're starting your career as an intern, or if you are a lower level staff. These are things that really happen for real. Okay. Yeah, but what matters is, like I've said, for you continue to do the right thing and build on your skills. Okay. Build on your skills. You remember what I told you earlier on? Any position you desire to be in, or any organization you desire to be in, it's just a matter of time. Okay? It's just a matter of time. So continue to build your skills, continue to build your leadership abilities, speak to people well, involve other people who can support you in the process if yourself you're defeated, but build your skills, become a technical expert in whatever that you do. Okay? Yeah, that is basically what I can say. Some people, you see, by the way, to a bigger extent, someone is mistreating you, someone is doing whatever to look down on you simply because you have more skills than them. See that? They are actually feeling scared. See that? Simply because you have more skills than them. And what is happening is that they are scared of you. That is why the best tool they can use is to down look at you, not to use their point. Why? Because they are in higher position compared to you at that particular time. Great. So I think that's all. I don't know if anyone has something to say. I love this discussion. It's very, very good. It helps us to learn by experience. Okay? Anything else to say? If there's nothing, I want to appreciate you, colleagues, for the time that you have taken to attend this lecture or to attend to this class, for the discussions. Tomorrow we are going to have another practical aspect, that is how to do budgeting. Okay? All of you should be budget experts. Not only budget for not a small budget, but a big budget, a project budget. Okay? Yeah. So I want to appreciate you once again. I think we can end our class at this particular point. Tomorrow, Joanita, since you're not on WhatsApp, please first call to confirm the time that we are going to start our lecture so that you don't miss out. I wish you all the best. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Pauline, since you're the host, you can end the class for all. Okay? Great. Yes. Pauline, you can end the class for all.